Hello, welcome to Excel Highway. In today's video, I want to share with you a risk management file I created in Google Sheets. Using this file, you can analyze your project's risks and build a mitigation plan to make sure that you have a solution for those risks, or at least you're aware of them. All right, so the file is very simple. You got three sheets here. The sheet called lists. So we have 5 different lists here for selecting the risk based on different parameters: likelihood, frequency, financial impact, reputation impact, and time impact. Now, the reason I have a space between those for cases where I have 3 values is because I want this to be a number between 1 to 5, and I did it in a lazy way. Of course, I could have just added numbers like this and used VLOOKUP, but you'll see soon what I did. Also, there's the matrix of impact and likelihood, number between 1 to 5, number between 1 to 5, and you can see in the colors low, medium, high, and very high risk. So basically the way you select the risk, the parameters, is the score or the risk analysis, and a column for status. So of course you could change this to suit your own and build it. Next, we have the actual sheet risks. So I have the name of the risk, like scope creep, and the description: expansion of project scope beyond original boundaries, leading to delays and budget overruns. And by the way, I pulled these from ChatGPT, just so it's nice and quick. So I have my 5 categories: likelihood, frequency, financial impact, reputation impact, and time impact. And you can see that as I select, the color changes and the value changes and the risk level changes. So how it works, I have here grouped columns. Since I have 2 metrics, right? I have the likelihood value and the severity value, right? It's X and Y, so to speak. And I gave 2 options here. You have a likelihood score and a frequency score, and it's going to show you the average of both of them. And let's say if you don't have one, it's okay. All you need is at least one. You don't have to fill out everything. So this is very simple. That's where I said I use a lazy or quick method to get that number, just using match. So I'm using match for this value within the list, and that's going to give me a number between 2 to 6, minus 1. That's going to give me a number between 1 to 5. So those lines are number 1, those lines are number 5. If I had this at here and the daily here, so it'd be a number between 1 and 3, which is less what I wanted. There's other ways I could do it. That's just a very quick method that I did. So I have the likelihood and frequency value and the average. Same thing for the financial and all of those. And eventually, using index match, which I hope you're familiar with, index match is going to find a value in the column, a value in the row, and find the combination of both. So it's a very powerful combination called index match. I know that there's new lookups that like XLOOKUP, but I'm an old-fashioned guy. I like index match better than the new function. So I recommend you learn it. So whatever number here, I can get the combination over here. So this is calculated with the average and the round. So scientific round, meaning if it's 4.51, that's going to be up, rounded up to 5. If it's 4.49, it's going to be rounded down to 4. So that's the scientific round, so to speak. Can't use round up, round down, because then you may have a number that's bigger than 5 or lower than 1. Okay, so that's how it's calculated. If you're not familiar on how to create data validation, that's very simple. You're going to click somewhere, data. These are all data validations where you see the arrows. Data validation, I'll just add a rule. Select drop down if you have a list, so go over here. Sorry, click that again. Okay, and I usually leave the last digit. I delete it, so just gonna look for the last row. And I usually, just show you, I don't like that gray. um, section. So I click on advanced and I change it to arrow. Last thing that I have here, you see that there are the colors. So I have for each value set up a color. So just so it looks nicer when you fill it out. So as you select the number ones, it's green. The number fives are red. Higher risk. We have likelihood frequency, which means basically how often does this risk happen? It happens every day, every week, every month. Or you can do whatever you want. And the order is based on the impact, right? If it's daily, it's higher risk. Financial impact, dollar sign between $1 and $5. Reputation impact, if it's a non-impact, minor or significant. Time impact, how long does it take to basically correct the risk or manage the risk once it does happen. Okay, so that's how this is built. You have your risks table, which you can use for many things. I also created a sheet called Mitigation Plan, where you can select a risk, any one of those risks, using data validation, of course. You see that description and the risk level, and you can just form some sort of an action item with a responsible person and the status of that risk. So that's something you can use to understand, um, where you stand with those risks. So you could like filter, show me just the very high, and just check. Okay, do I have an action item? And let's say this is new. Okay, great, but let's check how can I make it into active or done. And that's something that you can work on with your team to make sure that all the risks are mitigated. And of course, as time goes by, you can always go back here and now change it. Okay, now the likelihood, since we have a mitigation plan that's completed, now the likelihood is very unlikely, for example. And let's say the frequency dropped, so now it became a low risk, for example. And that's how you have to play with it. So you have to play with the mitigation plan and the risks. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, please subscribe so you don't miss out the next YouTube content. Have a good day.